Ability. Here tonight with Justin Spiehs, Dr. Justin Spiehs, running for the 1st District Douglas County Commissioner seat. And him and I have a lot in common. When police show up on scenes with either of us, it seems like discretion weighs against us. What do you say, Justin? Does discretion weigh against you?
Yeah, it definitely seems that way. We can get into it and we can explain why we think that, but yeah, it definitely seems that way.
Well, tell us about what you've been through with these police department and the scenes that you've been on and what's been the result. I know I see in the newspaper that there's a number of different cases where they've arrested you at city commission meetings or county commission meetings and arrested you on the street during stuff. But, can you tell us a little bit about those? Most of my viewers know about mine.
Yeah. So, there's some background and all that, so it's not like I'm just all of a sudden getting arrested out on the streets here. I started a protest here in town, here in Lawrence, about this time last year, exactly in July, when USD 497 put forward their school mask mandate policy. And so I sat out there every day and until it was lifted in March. And along the way, is an unpopular opinion. So immediately, my message was never political. It was always that masks on kids was child abuse. Never anything political, but everyone around here seemed to make it political. And so I was not liked around here. I was not a popular guy for that. And everything in the papers has been negative, without a doubt. If I get in the papers at all, it's always negative. And all of that, I think, feeds into how police view the situation when they roll up, and it also helps explain why I've been assaulted multiple times, and have never once had to have been follow-up questioned, appeared in courts to testify. Nothing until this past weekend, where someone protester hit me with a sign and finally got a citation for battery on it.
I want to stop on that one because that was pretty surprising.
Yeah,
that you actually did not get charged when the police showed up. I was shocked.
It was double surprise that she got charged and I didn't get charged. Is what it was, a double surprise. Because I was telling my friend while the cop and the perp, the criminal across the street yesterday were standing there just shooting the shit. I was telling my friend, I haven't done nothing wrong, but I guarantee they're gonna come over and find something I fucking did. And so when he was writing her a ticket, he came over with his ticket book. I'm like, all right, here it goes. And to my shock, he didn't cite me for anything, obviously, and I didn't do anything wrong. But he also cited her. And the reason why I say that is because here in the last couple of weeks or whatever, that actually happened where I didn't do anything wrong in a situation. And a lady threatened to F me up in front of a police officer and got a disorderly conduct charge, and I didn't do anything at all and also got a disorderly conduct charge. And so I was really surprised that it got handled the way that it should have got handled.
Yeah, and a lot of times when we see them show up, they've got their idea of what happened.
That's exactly right.
And
it seems that way.
Well, and in your cases, I know you told me that it seems like when they walk up, the first place they go is the people that are the problem, and they start getting that story first.
Right. Yeah. So what'll happen is I'll call 911 as the victim, right, making the report. Like, so for example, May 13th, I got a gun pulled on me while I was standing on a corner on 6th and Castle here in town campaigning, and I got the guy threatened he was going to shoot me. And then he later pulled the gun on me and drove off. And so I called 911 and made the report. And talking about the discretion here, the issue with them is that the cops showed up and just sat and just talked to him first. Like, I'm over on this other side of the street. Like, what are you guys? Hold on a second. I called the police. They're over there, like just shooting the shit. I'm thinking these cops are gonna roll up. But they had their, they came up, man. They treated it like a gun situation. So I was thinking it was gonna be like taking it seriously with this guy in his car that just pulled the gun on me. And I know there's a lot of context from this and in this story, but a lot of details. But what I'm saying is, so I was thinking like, maybe even like a get on the ground, you got a gun, we got to get it. No, he just approached the cop, and they just sat there and talked. And I'm over across the street like, yo, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? I'm the, and so And then I didn't even end up talking to that officer until after he'd already let the gun guy go. So
That was Officer Risner.
that was Reisner, yeah, however you say his name, yeah. And so Reisner didn't hear from me or his the other cop finally came over and talked to me while Reisner's doing, chumming it up with this guy that just pulled a gun on me and letting him go. And me and the other cop are still sitting here going over my story. And we're like, what are you doing, man? And so, later, and I got that video later, Reisner admits that he should have got my side of the story, that he had heard about me in the papers, and that he should have got my side of the story first. So I can only imagine how that conversation went when he pulled up and that gun guy just approached him. Reisner's probably like, yeah, we hear about this guy all the time. Yep. He's crazy, man. He probably did something to you, right? He did something to you? Yeah, and so just go ahead and go, man. We get, this guy happens all the time, but that's not what happened, though. You know what I mean?
I hear the same thing. When I hear people tell me that cops will say, oh, this effing guy, when they see me show up on a scene or something. And so, the disdain is obvious. The problem that's there is they can dislike us, and they don't have to like us. They don't have to like what we stand for, anything like that. But I'm being asked to move the camera, Justin. They want to see you a little bit better.
All right.
When they roll up, they have their formed opinions, and that's not a problem. They can have their opinion about us. I think my problem and your problem, I don't mind being disliked. I don't like the justice system being misused against me. And I think that's where we found common ground in this whole thing, because I want to tell everybody right now, Justin is not my cup of tea when it comes to the political spectrum. He's not somebody that I would probably vote for because he doesn't have the same political mindset that I do. But here's the thing, if we don't start coming together on the issues that matter, police reform, police discretion, things like this, there's not ever going to be any change. And it's got to be blue and red coming together and talking about these things. And that's why I asked Justin to sit down with me today, because like I said, we disagree on a lot of things. But on the things that we do agree on, we need to talk about it.
Yeah. And don't let Michael fool you. He's coming around on a lot of stuff on my side.
Yeah.
Nah.
Well, and let's talk about that a little bit.
Sure,
I mean, I've never been a COVID denier. I will admit to being a bit of a sheep when the first thing started happening because, yeah, like anybody else, I was a little worried about what was going on. I got the first vaccine, and shortly after that, my wife got it, and I didn't. And just personally, that created some questions for me. I'm not saying that I'm a total denier or anything.
What kind of questions are you talking about?
Well, just the questions that we're not going to be able to have time to discuss here.
So
it's about the biology of it.
Right, so
are some people more susceptible to it than others? Are there preconditions to it? Does my biology mean that I won't get that, where somebody else's biology means that they will?
So were you worried? Were you concerned that you got it and you're like, oh, something might happen to me, or what were you thinking?
I was more worried about spreading it to other people.
So spreading what, COVID?
Yeah.
But I mean, so like what changed your mind? So you got the first one, but you haven't got any since then, so something changed your mind about it or something?
It was the fact that I didn't catch it when my wife got it. And she had the same vaccine that I did. Now, like, again, I don't want to, I believe it's a real situation. I think the reaction to it could have been different, is all I'm going to say.
For sure, yeah, we share that fucking view, man. Probably our reactions would want to be different, I'm sure, but exactly. I agree it's real, but I think our reaction is what cost us dearly.
And part of what I don't get is everybody is so wrapped up in reacting, just like what we were just talking about as a reaction. But when they step back and they start talking about things, they can find some commonality.
That's right, man. We have a lot more in common than the stuff that we disagree on. There are huge gaps about it. So abortion, for example, there are huge gaps we'll probably never close, and that's fine, man. It's a huge moral question. That's just the way it's going to be with these kind of things. But what I'm finding, because I stand on these street corners pretty much every day, man, and I talk to a lot of people, and what I find, a lot of people that don't agree with me. And I find that there's a lot more that we share in common, man, than we do that could make up for those huge differences on those smaller issues. And a couple of those things are just our our culture and our identity as Americans, and what that means. And that means like music, and I mean, just look around here, man. Stuff's closing down, movie theaters closed. We started to lose our identity as Americans, and now we're mad at each other. But what should be binding us together is that we are Americans, and the people that were in authority, people that were in the powers that be when COVID hit, did a lot of stuff that messed up a lot of stuff, and that should bind us together to be like, all right, we need to get these people out of here, whatever. We need to reset and get out of here, and vote them out and get some other people in there, and just see what happens, because we can't keep going down the same road with these people that put these policies in place.
Justin, you title yourself a Republican. You come across as more of a libertarian, though.
Oh, don't be saying that. Don't be saying that.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Isn't that a
cuss.
libertarian thing?
No, well, definitely not the Libertarian Party around here. There might as well be Democrats, man. You might as well be calling me a Democrat around here if you call me a Libertarian. They're like that. But yeah, ideally, yeah, I want to be left alone. And had I been left alone with COVID, you guys wouldn't even know who I am. I would just be who I was before, a guy that nobody knew.
And that's another commonality that we have. Had I just been left alone, nobody would know about me.
That's right, man.
And
that's right. That's fucking right.
Here we are today,
Yeah.
40, 50, 60 people watching,
Oh yeah.
It's not a huge showing, but hey, it's the first live that I've ever done, and it's with somebody that the police in Lawrence don't like. I'm sure that they've put out don't watch this to all their friends.
But I do want to mention on that though, man, there could be one other person watching this, man. It could be me and one other person out there, and I don't care. I appreciate the opportunity to get any kind of way to spread my message and all that, because like I said earlier, I don't get any press coverage other than negative and dare I say misinformation in their press coverage of me. So I'll take, I appreciate any kind of audience that listens to us, man, for sure.
Well, and this was not meant to be any kind of a press coverage of your campaign or anything like that.
Man.
It's more of a, I see you as somebody that's got some things to talk about.
That's
and
right.
Too many times people are shutting people down and not listening and not talking.
Yeah.
So, that's the main goal here.
And I'm not saying like press for my campaign. I'm saying press so that people actually know who I am.
Exactly.
And what I'm about. Campaign, whatever, man. The media and everyone around here talking so much crap about me, I don't really care, but it influences people's views on me. So any chance I get to sit down and talk where people actually can get to know me instead of hearsay from somebody else, I appreciate that.
Well, maybe next time somebody sees you on the street, they'll be less likely to hit you with a sign
That's
after
right.
they see us.
We can only hope, right? That's right, man. That's right.
So do you still have pending charges and stuff? Is there a lot of that stuff you're able to talk about or no?
I still do have pending charges, but I can't talk about it.
Okay,
Yeah.
understood.
Mhm.
Well, officer discretion. That's where we that's the one commonality that we have between us that we've experienced, that officer discretion, and how it can destroy lives, it can destroy people, it can take a lot from people.
Yeah, for sure.
The unfortunate thing is that the police around here, they seem to spread the narrative as they choose. And it's similar to when they walk up and they've decided what the narrative is at a situation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they talk about me. I'm sure they talk about you.
They say they don't, but they say they, Reiser on video, said that he'd read about me in the papers.
Mm-hmm.
And that ain't good, because like I just said, they don't report anything accurate on me, so, oh, okay, you heard about me from the papers? Oh, great, thanks.
How many of these cops have actually walked up to you and said, "Hey, Justin, my name's Officer so-and-so. I'd like to talk to you and just get to know you a little bit"?
Oh, none of them.
None of them?
No. No, but I call them all the time for stuff that happens, and I talk to them all the time, but none of them have ever come up on their own.
Just out of their blue and talk to you?
No.
You think that would bridge a gap a little bit if they did that?
It couldn't hurt.
Because that's one of the first videos that I ever put out with Sergeant Neff coming up behind our vehicle and getting a tag in the middle of the night because his officers had called him because we were on a scene videotape. We weren't even videotaping because it was a victim. But instead of just coming up and saying, "Hey, I'm Sergeant so-and-so, how you guys doing tonight?" saying he wants to meet us, they do the cop thing. And that's what got me started, is the cop thing. It's the cop thing.
The first ever interaction I had with Lawrence Police Department was in January 2021, mask mandate in policy. Pretty much everything is still closed around here as well. That's one thing I got to tell everybody, is that now that we're kind of quote unquote on the other side of all this COVID stuff, we cannot forget what it was like, how bad it actually was, how much stuff actually was closed down, how restricted we were, how isolating it was. So when it was January 2021, I'm out at Rock Chalk Park. They're hardly open, but they're open for my son's having indoor soccer. And so I go in there and I'm not wearing a mask. So anyways, I get the police called on me, and I was just so surprised at how I was expecting them to be cooler. And what I mean by that is, like, in terms of like de-escalating a situation, like, hey man, hell, what's going on? You know, being like a normal person talking. But this guy was so condescending and just smug and just all the things you don't want to be when you go up and try to, you know, take control of a situation. And it was really surprising to me. And you know, nothing came out of it. I got escorted out of there or whatever, but I was just surprised. Like, he was like a little weakling kind of guy. It was just really kind of surprising to me to see him act like that.
Yeah. I don't know, respond to a couple chats here. I don't think Justin has a YouTube channel, do you?
No.
All right. Looks like somebody's asking if you do. You might want to get one started. The other thing is, somebody's asking me to throw a wrench, and I'll post some links. Yeah, I'm new. I don't know what to do, so you get the Joe Dirt excuse, buddy. If you know how to do it, tell me how.
Couple boomers here trying to figure out things.
But
no, so no, I'm not. I'm intentionally, you know, I'm not online for anything. I don't, you know, no social media, no YouTube. However, if you just get on YouTube and you Google or search my name, Justin Spiehs, and also if you Google Justin Spiehs, you'll see videos on their KCTV5 report that I got when I got attacked up at Sunset Hill when I was protesting up there this past September. Full video, you know, earlier when I said I've never talked to a single cop or investigator or a DA or anything on any, I'm not even joking. So back in September, you can go watch that video, KCTV5. The whole thing is caught on security camera where I'm just standing there. A guy comes, steals my signs and tries to hit me with them. And I tackle him into the street to get my stuff back. So I was, you know, battered. I told him I want to charge all the way from the top. Battered, theft. The guy parked in the school crossing zone. I wanted him to get ticketed. I wanted every single thing. Haven't heard anything back on anyone. But so that report is there. There's a Lawrence.
were you charged in that?
No,
Okay.
I wasn't charged. But as far as I know, nobody was charged, even though it was a clear crime that was committed. And I mean, clear crime that was committed. And so then there's also the video Lawrence Times has up there, me getting arrested up at the courthouse, which is, you know, in the background over here, where the Douglas County Courthouse. And then there's the clip from the Kansas Reflector where I tell the editor of the Kansas Reflector to go F himself up at the Capitol building. That's up there. And so that's 30 seconds of my 3-minute speech. Go check out the whole 3 minutes. You'll see what I'm actually about instead of that 30 seconds that, you know, that got reported widely, man, like, you know, all over. That I went up there and cussed like that on record, and then it got taken down. It got
put right back
up. It got put back up when people were like, "Hey, why'd that public record get taken?" All kinds of stuff going on. Man.
You hit on something good there. You know, you were at the State House, and that record got taken down.
Mm-hmm.
This past Wednesday, at the courthouse here behind us, you were doing comment at the Douglas County Commission meeting, and so was Joe Herrick. And that video has been taken down because it violated COVID policies. Because was it misinformation is what they said.
Because they rely on the experts in the fields, you know, viewpoints. You can't challenge. Basically, what it said. You can't challenge it.
Well, and see, the thing is here's a citizen giving public comment. Joe Herrick is a citizen of this town, giving public comment at a public meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And that video gets taken down off of YouTube. Now, I understand YouTube's policies, and I've actually put in a request with the county to get a copy of that video. I didn't actually get a chance to watch the whole thing before it got taken down, and I want to see it. But the idea of taking down a public comment video and a public meeting video just because they don't like what's in it, you know, if you're still susceptible to misinformation on COVID right now, I don't think we can help you.
That's right, man.
Because you've already probably decided your side, haven't you? By now, wouldn't you say that most people on the COVID issue have decided which side of that they're on?
I think there's still people that are jumping ship over to the sane side, but I think, I think most of this are cemented in their views on.
So, what do you think Joe's words at that meeting? How do you think that could have affected the public that make them need to take that video down?
Well, it couldn't. So here's the thing with that. So. If you guys are interested in what Joe said, because like I said, the video's not up there, check out the Kansas Constitutional. It's a newsletter written by Ian Brennan. You can check him out on Facebook or online. and he wrote an article about this incident, and in it he has Joe's entire speech quoted with the links that Joe referenced to, that was quote unquote, you know, misinformation. So Joe, he always comes with the receipt. He's a man of his word. He's a man of honor. And so you can read what Joe said. And so the thing about this is that this isn't the first time that, so me and Joe and his wife Sue, we went and spoke this Wednesday, and we've been doing that on the regular. We go to the Tuesday night city commission meetings, the Wednesday night county commission meetings, and then they speak at the every other Monday school board meetings. And I can't do that anymore because I'm banned from school property, and then they gave me a 90-day online ban as well, so I can't even speak online there. And I didn't, again, you're gonna
What was the ban for?
That's the thing, like, so I don't know, they said I violated their policies, that I was that I had brought up specific faculty and students. And so they had been, they weren't just like 90 day, they were just like 90-day ban, but leading up to that, if I was talking on Zoom, they would just cut me off. They could just hang up on me if they didn't like what I was saying. They just hang on, like, you know, what's going on here? So I was trying to always work around what they were trying. So one time I wrote a fictional story, and I didn't use Superintendent Anthony Lewis's name, and they still cut me off. So the next time I started off by saying, this is not about any of you guys, but here's my story. And I read the whole thing, didn't mention anybody's names, but it was, you know, you can go check it out too, it's online. But, then I got the 90-day ban after that.
And nothing else had happened. All you done is read that story, and they banned you for 90 days?
Yeah, like the day or two later, I got a letter from the school district's attorney saying I got a 90-day ban online for speaking at the meetings.
And did they quote a policy that you violated?
Well, that's the thing. I got back to them. I said, you know, I'm going to go ahead and need to know what, because they said that I did it multiple policies, multiple days. And I said, I'm going to go ahead and need to know what the alleged policies and dates of these infractions happened on. And so instead of getting back to me, the attorney, he emails my attorney and says that he knows my attorney's working with me, which I don't know how that guy would have known that. Like, I didn't tell anybody about this guy. I mean, I'm sure, you know, people know who my attorney is because he's mentioned in the paper or whatever, but my attorney was never even part of this, but he went directly to my attorney. And anyways, he didn't give us any kind of information, so we asked again, like, what part of the policy, and I'm expecting him to, like, pull out the book and be like, all right, so, you know, it was 2B-4, you know, section 3. But no, all he did in some kind of snarky ass way was just copy and paste the opening policy that the school board president reads right before general public comment, which is just their general guidelines.
Like they do at the city that says that we reserve the right to mute and blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
that thing. They just copied and pasted that. Like, that was sufficient for us to go, oh yeah, I guess I did violate that. No dates, no specifics, anything. It's like, and so here's the thing. I know people be like, oh, go get those, you know, go get them. And trust me, man, I'm not joking. I said I got a lot of stuff that I got on my plate right now of legal stuff from all this stuff. That is on my plate.
But what people don't understand is that's hard to do. I mean, that is serious, because you're not talking about just walking in and saying, I demand my rights. I mean, that stake takes money. It takes a lot of money.
Oh, to fight that stuff?
Yeah, because you've got to go out and you've got to pay for the attorney.
Oh yeah,
and you've got to pay for all the records. You've got to pay for everything. And then when they rebut your attorney on BS, you've got to pay him to battle those BS rebuttals that everybody knows is bullshit.
Right.
But they're still going to have to make him earn money from you to fight the BS, and that's how they wear you down.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. That's how they wear you down, man. That's how they try to wear you down, man. But that's how they try to wear you down.
But you know that restricting you for 90 days and not even being able to tell you exactly why they restricted you.
They'll tell us. They'll have to tell us. This is BS what they're doing. They'll have to tell us. But yeah, they're not telling us right now.
I think, you know, to me, I mean, I'm not a lawyer,
right,
but that sounds to me straight up like a First Amendment rights violation.
It does, doesn't it? It does, doesn't it? Yeah, it does.
Because it's an open public forum, and you've been now told that you can't even appear online.
Right.
You're banned from the meeting itself. And they won't even let you log in to speak online.
Right. I can only do written statement, which I always write them, and I never hear anything back from those motherfuckers. You know, I never hear anything back from them.
That's interesting. But I wonder if they would ban me for reading your written statement. Do you think they would do that?
I think that's an excellent idea. I'd like to find out. I don't know what they would do, man.
You get me a copy of your written statement and we'll see if they'll ban me for the same reason.
You talking about the story that
the story that
I read?
The story that you read that got you banned.
The fictional story?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. I got that.
And we'll see if I get banned for reading the same exact story.
Yeah.
You think I will?
Yeah, I don't know, but there's a school board meeting tomorrow night. But you got to get online and sign up before 6 p.m.
I'm not banned from the meeting.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you just go over there.
I can walk
I'm
in.
operating from. I haven't been there since fucking October. You know?
You're the one that's
I'm always
banned, not me.
signing up online. Yeah. But
Well, but wait, if they see this, I might get a preemptive ban. You think?
Yeah, exactly. But so anyway, so this started with talking about what happened up here at the courthouse. So and I got off onto that. But so yeah, Joe's entire speech is in this article that Ian Brandon wrote. So go check it out. But so what has happened though? Oh, I was saying we've been speaking at all the meetings. So this isn't new. This isn't the first time anyone in my group of anybody has spoken about the vaccines. But this is the first time it's been taken down. So this is my hunch, man. This is my hunch. So I go in there with my 3 minutes. I go every week, man. I've gone since last August every single week to every single one of these meetings that I can. Even when mask mandates came up, I was coming over here just to say, this is your weekly reminder that I haven't forgotten what you guys did to me and the community and these kids. And I'm gonna be here every week to give you that weekly reminder. And I did that, man. I'm going through a divorce right now. I don't even have a car, man. I would rent a U-Haul truck and drive over here just to tell them that. So anyways, what I'm saying is we go and we speak at those meetings, and all along people have been mentioning vaccines, and nobody that YouTube has never taken down any of these messages or any of these videos. But I've been using my 3 minutes, and I go up there and I talk to my base, as a candidate for county commissioner, and so I used that. And this last meeting, I always talk about how much money Patrick Kelly, who's the District 1 commissioner right now, he's a Democrat. He's also a USD 497 school district administrator, and I talk about how he makes $122,875 a year, and that in the past year he got a $12,000+ raise.
While the school district's running a deficit.
While the school district is going into the ground and running a huge deficit going into the ground. And his role as the administrator up there is he's in charge of all curriculum, which also includes all the sex ed and gender identity curriculum. That's what it's called. You can go online, you can go on USD 497's website, and you can look it up, and it starts in kindergarten. And you can click on the curriculum of what these adults are talking to kids about. And you could look at that and go, oh, this is benign. But the fact that they're talking about kids should be an issue, or talking about sex with kids should be an issue for every single person that has moral decency. And so I basically was asking that, like, why are you guys talking about this? Why does this need to be in school? What happened to the 3 R's? Why are you? And I was saying that, like, what it is an attempt to normalize the discussion with kids, that talking about sex with kids, with adults, is normal, and don't let them change the definition of normal, because that's what they're trying to do. And then boom, later that night, that video got taken down. Again, saying that we've already talked about vaxxes pretty much along almost every week. I don't know, maybe. And all of a sudden they take it down. So it's just, that's my hunch that we're starting to shine the light on what is actually going on around here, and they can't handle that stuff.
Have you seen any kind of adjustment?
With what?
Have you seen? I can point to some adjustments that I've seen in the police department since I've been active. Are you able to point to any adjustments that you've seen that even if you can't prove it, that you think might have came from something you did or something you said or
like
something
an
you put out?
improvement in the police department?
Any kind of change? Are you seeing, not just the police department, but locally with administration, anything? Are you seeing anybody in there that's willing to take a step back and talk to Justin?
Oh, no, nothing like that, man. The only thing I see is that they're kind of on the run. Not the police, man, but I see, obviously, I think that a lot of these people, like when I talk about how we're starting to shed the light on them, I think that they're kind of on the run a little bit, and they get reactive like that. So they might prompt YouTube to take down the video so people don't see what's going on here. And the counties even said we probably won't ever put our YouTube videos back up there.
I heard that. That.
And so what they'll do is they'll bury the audio on the Douglas County webpage. And first of all, nobody's going to go find that, because YouTube is a lot more like. First of all, hardly anybody goes and finds a Douglas County video on their own.
I want to point this out, guys. I had never watched a local commission meeting until I found them on YouTube.
Right, exactly.
And
now
so
they're gone.
there's a lot of people out there that finding them on YouTube gave them exposure to the local political process.
That's right, man.
And
so
to take that down is limiting that exposure, and that's not good.
That's not good, man. And that's why, going back to this whole YouTube taking it down, even if people look at it, and I hear this all the time about stuff, oh, they're a private business, they can do that if they want. even if you really believe that, you should still be able to go, that's not good, that's not right, man. What they're doing ain't right. And what I mean by that is maybe they have the right, the legal right to do that, but morally, what are we talking about here? So now they're going in there and saying that Douglas County residents can't even go and talk. I mean, they're not saying you can't go talk to them, but they're not going to share it with the community. They're saying we can tell the community what they can tell their elected representatives, at least on our platform.
Well, now it's no more different than submitting a written comment, because in all actuality, when you submit written comment, it's just a link in the agenda,
and nobody sees
and
it.
somebody has to click on it to go even see that
and
written
nobody's
comment.
going to do that. And same thing with the audio. Nobody's going to sit there and listen to us speak at those meetings. So effectively, it's gone. Effectively, it's gone. But for now, I mean, we need to do what we can to try and get that back, or do other things to get our video out there ourselves.
What do you think? Is there anything that we could do to get that back with Douglas County? I mean, it doesn't seem like we have the authority to make them do that. As the people. Don't we, the people, have that kind of authority?
I don't think so. So YouTube, cited their terms and policies. So they're basically saying, as a YouTube user, Douglas County violated YouTube's policies by spreading misinformation.
But YouTube did not kick Douglas County off of YouTube, though.
No. But
so just that one video.
Right.
So Douglas County's made the choice to not.
Yeah, and I'd have to go back and look at the specifics on what, because it was in an email, and I have to go over the specifics on what they were saying of why they wouldn't go back to the videos. But you're right. If there is no legitimate legal reason for them not to keep putting the videos back up there, then yes, they should be fucking. Sorry, man.
Well, you would think that anybody in the administration that wants more participation from the citizenry, they would be hesitant to take away an avenue for the citizens to become so exposed.
But that's what I'm saying earlier when I said, hey, you're coming around on our side. That's what I'm saying, man. Yeah, that's wrong. That's where you and I see eye to eye. We know that that's wrong. We know that's un-American, and we know that that's the stuff that should bind us together, and we all stand up and say, what do you call me bastards doing? What do you guys
see,
do?
there he goes with the commie word.
Yeah, because that's what it is, man. That's exactly what it is. When I say people look at the YouTube situation and go, well, it's their business, they can take it down. It's the commie view that says, but hold on, you should be saying, well, it's communism that they're even wanting to do that, and that should terrify us, man. We can't have that creeping in on our stuff and taking away, our elected officials hearing our voices, because we think YouTube has the right to do that with their communist agenda? What are you talking about?
Well, and even if YouTube, my thing is even if YouTube takes down one video, okay, fine. They took down the one video. Let's not overreact and say we're never going to put the videos out on YouTube ever again.
Right, yeah.
What the hell?
So I mean, that's on Douglas County then. That's on Douglas County. I think that they could definitely use it as an excuse to say, hey, we're just not, we're not going to do it anymore. You know what I mean? It's the reason for them not to do it.
Well, it would be I guess it's legal way to shut down the First Amendment.
Right, exactly.
They don't want to hear from you.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like when people say, well, it's YouTube's right to do it, they should also be like, hey, wait a minute, they're still shutting down our rights, and that ain't right, man. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, it should be full stop for everybody. And that's the stuff that should worry about all of us. And I'll tell you why, man. It's like I always tell these people, this isn't the first time they've censored me. They've escorted me out of the building for the words I've used in the middle of my speech. And I tell them on the way out, and I'll tell them any chance I get, you dumbasses are in charge right now. And I'm not saying if I get in charge, I'm going to do stuff, but I'm saying if somebody gets in charge and you, on your side, start saying things that they don't like, They could do that to you now, you dumb asses. That's why we all should be like, hold on. I don't like you take that, and that's what I respect about you. You're like, hold on a second. I don't like what this guy says.
But if they do it to him, they're going to do it to me.
They'll do it to everybody else, man. And that's why everyone is just so asleep about this. They're just like, yeah, whatever, man, whatever. But I'll tell you, when it happens to you, you will not like it. I do not like it when they do this to me. I do not like it. It is wrong. And you know it's wrong when they do it to you.
The problem is you said asleep. The problem is that the people that are acting asleep out there, they know it's wrong too.
They do. And I think they're probably cowards, man.
Well, I hesitate using such strong words because I understand the pressures that can be on them. Because in my situations, I've been out there where police have written down the number on the side of my truck. I'm going to call my boss and try to get me fired because they didn't like what I said.
Well, you're your own boss, though, right?
Well, right, but what if I wasn't?
Oh yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. Yeah. They did that shit. They did that stuff to me when not the police though, but you got doxxed basically, right?
Right,
by the police, so it ain't right. But,
they tried, but the idea is that they use this intimidation on the average citizen that doesn't have their own ability to stand up on their own and doesn't have to worry about the boss getting mad at them because they said something bad about the police.
But that's what courage is, though, man. So if all those things weren't in place, like they don't have the boss, this, that, and I can just do it, that don't take courage. You ain't gonna lose. So that's why it is a lack of courage, because all those things could happen, but you still have to do them. That's the thing. And I guess
we're lacking courage. I'll agree that it is a lack of courage. I don't want to, call them names and make them not want to come out and help.
Well,
Because
I call them
we
like
need,
I see it, man. It ain't my fault. These people are being cowards.
well, and
Sorry.
we need more of the average people to stand up and say, hey, I see this. I don't necessarily
Absolutely, man.
agree with everything that the guy says, but hey, you guys crossed the line here, and we need to
Absolutely.
watch that.
Absolutely.
You
Because
know?
of nothing else that could happen to me.
Exactly.
That you personally could happen to. And it will, man. It will. As more of this stuff comes creeping in, call it whatever you want to call it, democratic socialism, communism, whatever you want to call it, it will start affecting more and more people, unless you all get in line and do what they tell you, and then you won't rise up and start making noise, and they won't have to silence you. You know what I mean? You start making noise that they don't like, and what I mean by noise is the simple truth. They will try to silence you, and that's straight up communism, man.
If you look back through history, everywhere that they've silenced people, they've done it with fear of some sort or another. It's been fear that's done it. If you look back in Nazi Germany, you look back in the ancient Romans, it's fear that they use to keep that under control.
Exactly. And that's why we need to stop being cowards.
Exactly.
That's why we need to stop being cowards.
We need to stop being afraid, and we need to stand up, because the reality is when you stand on right, they can't wrong you.
Right, man.
And they've tried, but you've got to be able to withstand the fight a little bit though too, because you've had to withstand 2 years of fight or more, and I've had to withstand the same thing.
And I want to just mention that real quick, man. Are we doing all right on time?
Oh,
we're everything. All right.
Hey, there's no time limit, and we've got plenty of viewers.
Okay, so just so people know that I'm not just talking the talk and not walking the walk about this whole courage thing and standing up, man. I'm not just like saying you go do it and then I hide away. No, man. So I was a professor at Washburn University in Topeka, Kansas. I have a PhD in lifespan human development from Kansas State. I'm a professor by trade. I was in a tenure track assistant professor position up there at Washburn, and about a little over a year ago, I stood up to CRT. That was
Which
getting
is critical race theory.
Critical race theory, and lost my job. I didn't know it at the moment, but I had lost my job at that moment, but didn't find out about it till the end of the semester. But I'll talk about that too. But and so I stood up for CRT, lost my job, and then when I started this protest, like I said, about a year ago exactly, right now. Since then, I've lost everything as a result of that. And also the COVID. When COVID hit is when everything changed, and all of these things that happened in those last 2+ years all factor into it, right? But they're all connected. And so me standing up against the mass, and like I said earlier, having a negative opinion around here, really did a lot of damage. The views of everyone around here called me just a crazy madman. And so.
Well, and I'll be honest, man. When you first came out, and some of the signs you didn't hold back on your signs. And
well, I don't think that's true, because my signs right away. Well, I had 2 signs, and my signs were masks on children is child abuse, and masks impede human development. That's what those 2 signs said, and like I said earlier, none of my signs were political, so I wasn't provocative with my signs. I am not provocative now, but my signs are political now because I'm campaigning. I will also say I did have a sign that had a swastika on it that said "Masks are for Nazis." Okay, yeah, but that was later. That I'm not talking about at the beginning of it.
Well, I know, but
that was in like November. So at the very beginning of it.
The reason I brought that up was that even now I'm sitting here talking to you, but at that time I didn't know who Justin was. I just see his name in the newspaper and thinking, oh, there's another crazy guy from Lawrence, man. Look at him go.
Right. Right. Well, and so there's. I got a whole philosophy behind everything that I did out there, and none of it was just madman on a whim, lunatic, ranting and raving. And I just have a philosophy on, there's pre-COVID and post-COVID, and a lot of people are still operating, especially at that time. Again, going back, you got to remember the context of that. We're no longer in mass mandates right now, so things don't seem as bad, but they were. And a lot of people operated under pre-COVID existence and fighting the system, and post-COVID. And pre-COVID, it was a lot of, there was hardly any fight, let's be honest. On the right, there's hardly any fight. That's why we're in this mess. And even still, it was like, let's write letters, or, and that's fine. There's a place for all that. But post-COVID, man, we needed to be in the streets, and I still believe we need to be in the streets. And I ain't talking like violence and that. Don't get any of that twisted. I mean, being visible, like I was, being visible with our message. And, like I said, I'm not on social media, so at the time I was like, I could tweet something or post something and it would just disappear in a sea of tweets and nobody would ever know my message. But I went and sat out there, and because I sat out there, hate, love, whatever, hate me, whatever, people saw me, and I was seeing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cars a day. It was a busy intersection. Over time, it's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people. So people got my message. They got my message. So it wasn't just lunatic ranting and raving, but I was operating under the mode that tired of the bullshit. We're here. We're gonna push you out of our lives. We're gonna. That's what I talked about up at the Capitol building back in November. You know, when I got silenced.
This is the commonality. I'm here. I'm going to push you out of my life.
We got to bully them, and I said we got to bully, and their heads exploded. Oh, I got triggered. Oh, that's nearly a threat. It's like, no, man. There's no nearly threats. There's threats or no threats. You can bully someone by going and holding them accountable. You can bully someone by, not taking their shit and saying no. Get out of my life. And that's been my message. And so that's what I was doing when I was out there on the corner, man. I was. I wasn't operating under pre-COVID. Excuse me, can you please, maybe when you get around to it, can you take those masks off? Oh, you don't want to? Okay, all right. No, man, this was serious stuff. They were abusing kids. They were taking away our rights as parents to decide what we wanted to do. What did people want me to do? Be nice about it? This was serious, and people needed to recognize how serious it was, and they didn't show up for
This is one of those areas. This is one of those areas where we do disagree. Is that. And it's hard for me because I disagree with some of the aspects of the way you say it, but not necessarily the intent behind it. Because the hard part for me is a parent should have the rights over their children, and they shouldn't be dictated to what the child has to do. And if at the same time, I understand national health issues, but balancing that is tough. But you have to fall back on the side of independent freedoms because we're America. It's that simple.
Exactly.
It's that simple. We have to fall back on freedom because that's how we were founded. That's how this country became to be. And all we're seeing, it's not just COVID, it's not the police, it's the government, it's everybody. The freedoms are getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and you're being put in this little box that you have to operate in. And if you don't operate in that box, we're going to take you down.
That's right. That's right, and that goes back to what I was saying, where I lost everything. So by losing my freedoms to say whether I want my daughter to wear a mask, not only in school but anywhere, that really, I felt that really kind of I felt those rights being violated, and it was turning my family against me because I was saying you don't have to do that, but society was saying no, you have to. The government was saying you have to. If you want to get in here, if you don't want to get bullied at school, if you want to fit in, you have to go along with this. And it was turning us against each other. And it's done that to a lot of people. And that's why we need to be left alone. That's why they cannot violate our rights. That's why we as parents had to have been like, stop it. If we want to put a mask on our kids, we will. But if we don't, and even then, it's child abuse. I will give you reason. I'm not here, but I can explain to anyone why I think it's child abuse.
Turn us against each other.
To turn against each other.
But that divide and conquer.
Absolutely.
Divide and conquer.
Absolutely.
Because the more that we have that we can fight over, the easier it is for them to take Justin away, because I'm not going to mind Justin getting taken away because I don't really like that guy anyway.
Yeah, he's crazy, man. He's a crazy guy.
Right. So nobody's going to complain that Justin got taken away because he's the crazy guy.
Right, exactly. And then meanwhile, it could be them next week.
Exactly.
You just never, that's what COVID taught me. You never know what could happen. Everyone today could be like, oh, they'll never do that to me, man. Well, bet. I was saying a year ago, like I said, I was just some guy, man. I'm still just some guy, but I'm saying like nobody knew. I was just going to work, doing my thing or whatever. And, but yeah, now I'm getting my rights violated, and I didn't plan any of this stuff.
Let's do this. We've been going for about 45 minutes. I'm going to open it up. I'm watching the text here. If there's anybody that wants to ask a question of either one of us, shoot it out. And we got some moderators in there that have been controlling it. Apparently, we've had some bootlickers in here talking crap on us, but they've been handling it.
So what does that all mean?
Just we had some people in there that didn't like what we were saying and talking crap, and they got booted.
Well, they say you're always gonna, no matter what, 20% of people ain't gonna like you. So
right.
Whatever, man.
Amy, yes, we're in South Park. South Park, right outside of downtown Lawrence, Kansas.
The county courthouse is right there in the background, right there.
Yeah. Any questions, folks? Take any questions. Give them a second to type them in, if they have any. Maybe they'll just not ask any questions, you think? How do you guys feel about the 8-foot law in Arizona? Do you know about that?
No.
Arizona passed a new bill in the House, and the governor signed it, saying that it is unlawful to record police within 8 feet.
What? Why?
Well, and the one thing I want to add to this is I believe it was the 10th Circuit or was it the 5th Circuit down in Texas? I don't know which one it is, but the 2017 decision, Turner v. Driver, established the right to film police.
Yeah.
But now we have a state, and the Turner v. Driver was a U.S. federal case. And now we have a state that's going to limit that to 8 feet.
Well, the key word in there is limit. And so this isn't and I don't know anything about it, but so this isn't a COVID policy, 8 feet, 6 feet. You just never know with these people. They're always trying to limit and restrict how close we can get away from each other. No, I don't know anything about it, but it doesn't sound right. Man.
Well, I'm kind of the same way. That to me, I had somebody say this to me earlier. 8 feet, 8 feet's close enough for me to get everything I need.
Yeah, but it's still the principle, you know what I mean? It's like we're going to control every single aspect of everything at all times.
And it's just like
and good luck. You know?
The 8 feet is no different than them denying to tell me who the officer's name was the other day. I'm going to eventually find out that officer's name.
That's right. I didn't understand that.
So in the 8 feet, I'm going to get the footage anyway. Why make these crazy rules and why try to restrict?
Well, that's the thing, man. That's like with these city commissioners around here. So our city commissioners, which is different than our county commissioners around here, our city commissioners, there's 5 of them. And they're thinking about expanding already to 7. And the thing about that, man, is what happens is these government officials, man, as soon as the population starts to wisen up to the rules and be like, catch on what's going on, hey, these are the rules, these politicians want to change the rules. So now we got to, they always want to stay one step ahead of us. So now we got to scramble to learn these new rules. Don't let them keep adding rules to the mix. The rules already aren't right. Why keep adding to them?
Let's see what else we got here. How do you feel about the Supreme Court?
Me personally, How do I feel about the Supreme Court? I think it's great, man.
I figured you would. Justin is pro-life hardcore. He does not believe in abortions and he calls it murder. I, on the other hand, I don't have a uterus, so I don't have an opinion.
That ain't right, man.
Hey, man.
You do too, man.
Well,
you have
an
opinion on more than one level, man.
Right.
For one, you could be you could be defending the male babies. How about that? We need to be looking out for men.
Well, the thing is we spend too much money getting into people's bedrooms. I'm a fiscal conservative and a social liberal because we need to quit spending so much money to take away people's rights.
Dude, yeah, but no. So with the Supreme Court, no. So so like for example, today we were doing an abortion protest, and somebody drove by and said, "F the Supreme Court," and I said, that's like spoken like a true commie. Yeah. F those Supreme Court justices who are there to interpret the. No, she didn't say F. She said burn down the Supreme Court, like do away with them. Oh yeah, let's do away with the people that are there to interpret the Constitution. Like why would you want to do away with that? Who do these people think they are? They know so much more than our founding fathers that established a country that has lasted.
And they did
as
it
long
with,
as it is. And now we got these people like they know better. You know better. Let's burn the Supreme Court down.
3 or 4 fairly short and concise documents too.
Right, man. Right.
They didn't need a whole book full of laws. And the smoking auditor asked here, how do you feel about the fact that the United States has the most laws of any country in the history of the planet? I don't know the factual basis of that, but I'm not going to doubt it at all.
I don't know either. But it reminds me of what the Second Amendment. It says it shall not be infringed upon. But there's over 22,000 gun laws on the books. 22,000. So not only have we infringed it, we obviously infringed it, but in 22,000. So yeah, there's too many laws, man.
Yeah.
In that one area alone, there's too many laws.
What do you think about Supreme Court term limits? You think that is something that should happen? We got a commenter here that he thinks the Supreme Court should be limited to 4 to 8 years or something like that.
Possibly. But I've learned, and I'm taking this Constitution course right now. Me and my group, every Monday night we meet together and we learn about the Constitution. We're taking a course, and what I learned about it is they're not there. It's not unlimited. Those Supreme Court justices, if held accountable, can be removed as well. So
the impeachment process.
Yeah, I'm not sure on all the specifics of it, but yeah, if they do something egregious, they're not above the law. That's what it is. They're not above the law. So if they break the law, they can be removed, right? I mean, I'm not saying like you can, I'm saying if in their lives they break the law, but I'm just saying it's not they're there forever. They can be removed.
Do you think
law stuff? So I don't know about 4 or 8 years. I don't know.
Do you think a justice has broken the law?
Well, I have no idea. I have no idea, man.
Would that be an assumption that we would just go ahead and make?
No. Well, the only reason why I mentioned any of that is just to say, like, they're not necessarily there for life, obviously, but they typically are. We know they are, but legally they're not. But so a term limit, I don't know, man. I haven't really thought about it, really.
And then let's see. Where was this one at? This was show me accountability. I like this one. The founding fathers said the Constitution wasn't all encompassing of our rights, and I think that's key because what they didn't enumerate all of our rights. But what's happening now is our rights are being restricted even though they haven't already been named. You see, the founding fathers didn't enumerate every single right that we have, but then our later government, as we go along, they've restricted that down and not allowed that enumeration of those rights. What do you think of that?
Well, they said that we can't, the government can't restrict the rights.
Time, place, and manner, Justice. just in time, place, and manner. We went through this. We have a First Amendment right to speak, and you and I both learned at these meetings that it's governed by the fairness or the public forum doctrine.
Right. Yeah. So,
And we can be restricted by that rule, even though we have the constitutional right of freedom of speech.
right. Yeah. So the way that, and I don't, the way that I see that is that like the Constitution is there, but they're able to go around that with their public forum documents as well, which I guess trumps the. I still do not understand how they're able to violate what it seems like a right. Like for example, I went in there and I opened up a talk one night and to the commissioners my speech, and I said evening days and beta male. And then I won't say the swear words, but I did say the swear words up there. I said, I want to start off with a quote by Einstein, who said the thing about smart MFers is that they look like crazy MFers to stupid MFers. And they immediately cut off the mic and escorted me out.
I was there.
Escorted me out of there. And I'm like, well, hold on a second. Hold on. I'm not only a citizen, but I'm also campaigning. I'm speaking to my base. Now you get to tell me what I get to say to the people. And I know they'd say, well, you're not here to campaign, but I can still go out there and say what I want. And my political opponent up there is cutting off the mic for me, getting to dictate what words I can say to the people out there. I don't understand how a public forum document or whatever trumps the ability to say what you want to say as an American citizen, and they get to define the terms like vulgar. So they were to set up what vulgar is. And as I was getting, well, that was another night, but I was saying like, well, you find vulgar, I don't. So when I'm up there and you come in there and you say something like, for example, vote blue no matter who, and I go, that's vulgar. Get out of here. You know, I wouldn't do that, but I'm saying you open it up to that, right? What you're saying is vulgar. You're using against me to get me out of here.
Well, it's a few years ago, certain words that we hear every day were considered vulgar.
Yeah,
Ass,
damn,
stuff changes, things like that.
Obviously, words change. They change words all the time. So yeah, that's another scary thing about it. Is words right now that don't mean getting banned could someday mean getting banned. I mean, we don't want to go down that route, but for whatever reason, people don't seem alarmed by it.
Let's see if there's any others here. Common law is the real law. I'm not seeing too many more questions, guys. Unless there's a whole lot more questions, I think about an hour is long enough tonight. What do you think?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to cover?
No, man, I don't think so. I hope we could do this again, man. I hope people like it and they want to see more.
I'm gonna throw this out there. You guys that are watching, if you want to see more of Justin and I just talking about the stuff that's going on here in town, leave a comment. Let us know. He's expressed interest. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. The whole live scheme is a little different than what I've been doing, but it's not always about going out and filming the police. A lot of times it's about catching up on the other stuff, and we're seeing other auditors do that. Direct D is doing it. He's going into the courts and fighting that battle, and we've got a lot of, I saw mentions of by Israel, We the People in the chat, and Lackluster. These are guys that have been reviewing First Amendment audit videos for a long time and calling out the right and wrongs and going through the legal. These are ex-police officers that are doing this, and I think we need more ex-police officers out here doing this. Andrew, I know you're watching. How about you start reviewing some videos for us, buddy? All right, guys.
Hey, well, hold on. Can I just say one thing before I sign off? So what I hope you guys all take from this, among other things, though, is that me and Michael really don't see eye to eye on a lot of stuff, and especially when we first met, man, we had some kind of heated exchanges. But I want you guys to know that it's possible, and it's possible to still relate to each other, even though you have differing opinions. I think it's even more important now. We talked about how we're being divided and stuff, and I just look around at, rising prices and how stressful that is. We're already stressed out enough. Mm-hmm. What we need now, and I'm not talking like again like getting together with like if you're pro-life and going and hugging on a board. I'm not saying we're at that level. I'm saying like you go to the gas station, you don't know if that clerk is Democrat or just be nice, man. Just say, hey, what's up, and you never know what kind of conversations you could spark and get your mind changed a little bit. In the process, but as stone sharpens stone, so do does man sharpen man. We can't lose that. We can't be in our echo chambers and only get our information from those that are around us that we find palatable.
I think if we're going to do this, I said earlier to you that I like watching the old Dick Cavett show. Mm-hmm. And the reason I like that is because that was back in the day where they had political discourse and they would discuss it. They would have discourse.
Mm-hmm. And have maybe respect for one another.
And well, sometimes it wasn't so respectful,
You get heated,
but at the same time, it didn't, they got a little disrespectful, but at the same time, it didn't involve police and somebody getting arrested and everything. We had a debate, we had a fiery debate, and we decided things. It's not means that I'm going to change your mind or you're going to change mine, but it's a discussion that needs to be had. And I appreciate you coming
I
out.
appreciate you, man.
All right, guys, like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to shut it down, and I appreciate our two moderators in there, Tag and Clinton Hansen, helping out. Clinton's been with me since the day one. Justin, have a good night.
You too, man.
Now the new guy's got to figure out how to shut this off, guys.
Hazards of a boomer.
Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Yep, we're going to stop. Have a good night.